It's so important to talk about the realm of Japanese entertainment because most entertainment coming out of the region does really well and is praised for good writing, animation, and most importantly, the people creating the products actually listen to what their consumers want. And lately, we've heard about the Japanese market rejecting Netflix and woke content, but hilariously enough, only one Hollywood movie made it into the top 10 list at the Japanese box office this year, and the region's showing no signs of accepting Hollywood's bad content anytime soon. I have a bunch of different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or supporting via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I wanted to start off with this Variety article. It says Japan box office, top Hollywood film of 2021 ranks 8th as local animation dominates. Now it's not really surprising to hear that local animation is dominating the market, but it is a little bit surprising to hear that Hollywood films have completely flopped in this market this year, primarily because they have done pretty well there in the past. It says locally made films, especially animated titles, dominated the Japanese box office in 2021. The territory is usually the world's third biggest cinema market, behind, of course, China and North America. It says though official figures compiled by the Motion Picture Producers Association of Japan will not be announced until next month, they'll probably paint a very similar picture, but the article does go on to list off the top 10 films. Number 1 was Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, number 2 was Detective Conan the Scarlet Bullet, and number 3 was Belle. I want to go on over to the Box Mojo list. It, of course, says the same for the top 3, but I just wanted to show off maybe the top, 20. Number 1, number 2, number 3 are the same, and then number 4 is Tokyo Revengers. If we look at the gross for, of course, these films, number 1 is 92 million. It was pretty solid, but number 2 and 3 are quite a dip. It goes to 66 million and then 57 million, but as the list goes on, the numbers do significantly drop. From number 3 to 4, it goes from 57 million to 39 million with Tokyo Revengers. And then, of course, as you can see, the only Hollywood film on this list is sitting at number 8, and that is F9, The Fast Saga, at 33 million gross. Now, I truly think that it's great that the top 3 grossing films were animated, which I don't think anyone's shocked by, but only one Hollywood movie made it into the top 10. Plus, looking at the top 20 here, only 4 Hollywood films made it in. And on top of all of that, one was the latest Godzilla movie, and that was a given no matter who created it, because of course, Godzilla originated from Japanese films. We see so many people who would love to squeeze into this market and manipulate the content they release because they're so offended by literally everything, and it's great to see any content they release succeed, even if it's in their own market, because it makes companies go, just keep creating what you've been creating and keep making us more money, so they don't turn around and go, oh, we need another plan. Western entertainment is failing in this market, and a lot of people, even in the West, are looking to Japanese entertainment to find joy in, and I agree, a lot of the things on this list are things that pique my curiosity, are films that I am personally interested in, and I know a lot of other people are as well. It is important to point out that yes, Sony is a Japanese company and they're a large part of the Hollywood machine, but even Japanese audiences are rejecting Sony's content. It's not just the region the content is coming from. The situation with Sony is proving it's the type of content that's being rejected too. Now, looking a little bit closer at this list, as you can see, number 8 was F9 The Fast Saga, number 11 was No Time to Die, number 15 was Godzilla vs. Kong, and number 17 was Venom Let There Be Carnage. And if we look at this list as we scroll down, Walt Disney films did pretty terribly in this region this year. Number 25 was Eternals, and then 31 was Shang-Chi, and number 32 was Black Widow, and these films didn't even hit the $10 million gross mark at the box office in the Japanese region. And this doesn't really come as that much of a surprise because we've seen Japanese audiences reject Hollywood and woke content, especially this year. This was an article from back in May. It says new survey shows Japanese audiences want Hollywood to stay away from anime. And I've also talked about these situations a little bit closer because if we look at something like Cowboy Bebop, Japanese audiences didn't like the live action adaptation. If we look at the One Piece casting, Japanese audiences also haven't enjoyed the casting yet, and they're very worried about the series. This article, though, says the results of a recent survey conducted among Japanese audiences has revealed that a significant number of respondents want Hollywood to stop adapting anime and manga for the silver screen. I want to give these things a chance, like live action One Piece. I would love for it to be successful and for it to be good. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in it. Like Cowboy Bebop's live action, I tried to give it a chance, and unfortunately, it was just negative after negative, and then the series came out and it was an absolute disaster. It says, conducted by Japanese video game streaming guide OneScreen, the survey asked 1,000 men and women in their teens to 60s nationwide a simple question: what anime/manga would you like to see live action in Hollywood in the future? In response, nearly half of those surveyed answered none. That is absolutely hilarious. They have no faith in Netflix, in companies in general, to actually make faithful adaptations. It says, according to a machine translation of the survey's coverage by Japanese pop culture outlet Kaiyu, respondents who answered none did so for a number of reasons, including the belief that animation should be as it is, a fear that a typical Hollywood adaptation would destroy the worldview of a given series, and because the dream is likely to break if it is made into a live-action film. Of course, the survey was not without its supportive respondents, and following the understandably negative top response, the most popular answers were things like Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan. Again, I think that these things could be really cool. Unfortunately, we've just seen failure after failure, and that makes me really, really hesitant to try to support any projects or go, I would really like to see this be adapted. There is clearly a massive gap in numbers here, though, because first place was none with 456 votes, and number 2 came in at only 60 votes. As you can see, the numbers continue to drop. It goes from 60 to 48 to 34 to 24 to under 20 for all of the other votes. Clearly, there are a lot of people in this region that don't have faith in Hollywood to adapt anime and make it proper, to actually do justice to the stories and to these characters. And honestly, I agree. I would be very worried to see another wave, I should say, of anime adaptations, because we've given Netflix chances, we've given Hollywood chances, we gave them chances with Death Note, with Cowboy Bebop. I know a lot of people are trying to give them chances when it comes to things like One Piece. Unfortunately, these companies, like Netflix, don't really have positive track records with these franchises now. We've seen Japanese audiences reject Hollywood releases like Disney films, and we've seen audiences reject entertainment from companies like Netflix, like Cowboy Bebop, and honestly, I'm not very surprised to see why our entertainment kind of sucks at this point, and I do truly and genuinely hope that we continue to see great content coming from the Japanese region. We keep seeing amazing anime and manga and literally anything that they want to give us, but clearly there is a problem in the Japanese box office, and they're rejecting Hollywood and Netflix's woke terrible content. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.